All right, gentlemen. Quick run through of our match plan for tomorrow's game against Peoria City. We'll go through the itinerary. You've already seen that being sent out from Matt. Just make sure we're arriving at the field at 4:30. Uniforms are on. We're ready to be on the field at 5 to knock the ball around before we start warm up at 5:10. Match objectives. Yeah, we don't really change these much from game to game, but a couple focal points. The idea of keeping the ball to control tempo and to remove panic from the game is not going to change. Continuing to defend with the ball to control the pace. We have to be more proactive in how we deal with the game and the pace of the game through the ball. Patience will be key on Saturday. There is a good chance that it's going to be 3-4-3 versus 3-4-3, which means we're going to be matched up in the width. We're going to be matched up through the middle of the field. So there's a lot of common things, and what that means for us is we need good ball circulation at a high speed, willingness to attack down the width and win our 1v1s, and then obviously getting in behind their wingbacks and their outside center backs, especially in transition. As I've watched a lot of Peoria City games, they leave themselves open. Just as much as we would in transition as we tire, we have to be able to identify those moments. Defensively, again, we have to continue to focus on denying that first goal, keep us from chasing the game, head in the locker room in a good state so we're able to either continue the work we're doing or adjust and then go and attack and win the game. 5-4-1 shifting block. So same concepts as we're denying everything central, we're forcing it wide into traps, but that has to be connected. As far as line of confrontation, I want us to start a little bit higher. So if you can imagine our norm being halfway between the top of the center circle and the top of the box. We're going to have some flexibility to go and press and release a little bit. Remember, if we press, we look more like a 5-2-3 so that our front three can get onto their center backs and make it even 1v1s. Peoria gave up a really poor goal from just a little bit of pressure from Des Moines this past week. And so I don't see why any reason in our home field, on our tight space, we can really press and make it tough. Transition, always reading cues, controlling tempo, understanding when the counter's on, when it's not. And then finally, the thing that changes and decides every single one of our games is transition to defend. Making sure that we're willing to do the work necessary to earn the 3 points. We haven't done it this year, and we haven't got 3 points this year, consistently through 90 minutes. So starters, there's that 3-4-3, couple changes. Eli will start as the 9. Zambetti's in at goal, and then Eric's going to go on the right side of our back 3. All right, so this looks very similar to Manitoba outside of those changes. Attacking shape, make sure you understand some of the cues, understanding where we're sitting, how we attack, some of those concepts. Goal kick restarts. So just be aware of who is where. In this case, our midfield is going to look like a 2-1-1 or a 2-1-3 if you include our inside wingers. So we're going to have Joey drop a little bit deeper, and we're going to force their front striker, as they play with one, to try to deal with either Ben or Joey and hopefully free someone out. Eric and Jack will slide down next to Zambetti, and we'll look to play from there. We always know that, especially against the back 5, the bigger diagonal ball out to one of our inside wingers, the 7-11, gives us a 3v3. Okay? Despite what it says Manitoba here, but Peoria does look to press here or there, but as soon as we decide not to press or as soon as we solve it, they drop it and tend to play in the medium or low block. So let's understand that sometimes their press can purely just be a faux press, looking to get us to play long. Attacking shape, as I said, 3-4-3. They have a different striker than we've played before. A bigger guy, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more dangerous on the break. Let's just make sure that we're able to deal with him, deny the ball into his feet. Joey and Jamison have to be really aware of their positioning, so on the transition that we're not leaving a lane for him to receive and be dangerous. From a defensive organization against Menace, they dropped into a 5-4-1. In other games, they've played a 4-4-2. It's what they did against us the last 2 times. So understand either way, it is a pretty tight defensive block. And again, similar to us, they're going to shift and move, deny central space, force it wide. And as noted, they are very ball-oriented, but in transition, we can catch them with that 3v3 on their back line. So let's really make sure we're aware of that. Reminder again of our defensive shape. We'll get a little bit more focus on that as we move forward. So now, what we've talked about before, especially with this, is we need to be aggressive. So as that ball hits into that space, and especially in between our striker and our midfield line, we have to get pressed hard enough so we're forcing the game backwards, and these players don't have free access to balls into our back line. So an example of ball central, one of our center mid steps and slides. The other 3 have to pinch and stay connected. If the 7-11 become lazy and don't drop back in, the penetrative lanes into their inside wingers become big, and that makes it tougher and tougher on us to defend. Now, the struggle with this is whenever we face 3 in the back is who's going to press the wide center backs. Depending on where we're at in transition and how we can deal with it, we would rather have the center mid jump out and press from the inside out. That is our preferred way of dealing with them. If, for some reason, we're not able to do that, the 7 or the 11 can slide out, and we're still forcing the game wide. We don't want them to be able to sit back there and ping balls at us. So 7-11 may need to jump out. Here's the difference when they do that. If their wide center back continues to play the ball wide, the 7 and 11 must backtrack and back tackle through onto our wing back. So as soon as the ball would be played past you and around, you have to slide out and double up with their wing back, with our wing back. Okay? Corners and set pieces, just make sure we know who we are. Like, again, there's obviously some typos here. So smallest player, we're going to have Jameson on the post. Bernard will leave free and high. Aiden has all the set pieces. Just make sure we're going to leave Jack and Wes free to go attack it. So here's what that looks like. Wes and Jack are free. Jameson's got the front post. Bernard is up high. And depending on who we bring in, obviously with our substitutions, we could bring Loic and Herbert in. That will maybe change who we leave high, and we'll communicate that. All right, we will communicate it, and we expect that you guys to follow what we communicate. As far as our defending set pieces, we're going to leave Ben and Eric deep. So let's get that. There's a couple reasons for that. It has to do with the ability for our back line to stay and play for 90 minutes. So making how we conserve our energy, pushing Jack and Wes on. And then, like I said, Aiden has the service. Okay, guys. So obviously, we've worked on the system. We've had some moments with it. We've played a little bit in it, but now we've refreshed. We're finally back home after a very long break away from our real home field and our real fans and being in front of them. So let's make sure we're all on the same page with this stuff. Let's be ready from the first moment. And this is our chance to really get ourselves on a good run to finish the season. I'll see you guys tomorrow.